Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the movie Suburbicon. Alright, so I got a chance to see the movie Suburbicon over the weekend. I know I'm a week late with this. I wasn't able to see it right away, but I was really intrigued by it. I thought it would be really interesting. Film's directed by George Clooney, and it stars Matt Damon, Julianne Moore, Oscar Isaac, and obviously the rest of the cast. But those I guess are the biggest ones. But I mean, I guess Matt Damon and Julianne Moore. It's kind of their movie, them two for sure. And especially the child actor, but of course he doesn't really get that much credit. I thought it was an interesting movie for sure. I thought going into it seemed really intriguing. It seemed really interesting. I knew that it wasn't gonna be a favorite of mine, just because I'm not a big fan of these movies that kind of skip all over the place, and they're just kind of out there, right? And then you kind of have to piece it together, and they're not, but they're meant to be like that, right? So I don't know, that's how I felt about this one. Just some information about the movie so far that we have. So in the United States and Canada, Suburbicon debuted to just $2.8 million, which is not much, right? It was supposed to, they guessed that it was going to debut to 8 million, and so they were a little bit low with that, and it finished ninth at the box office for the weekend, so that's pretty low there, and that also marks the lowest wide opening of Clooney's directorial efforts, so any, film that he's directed, that is, the lowest opening that he's ever had, and Matt Damon's career of acting. This was the lowest opening of a movie that he's ever been in. So pretty crazy. And then also it's the 32nd worst ever opening for a film playing in over 2,000 theaters. I'm guessing in North America or maybe even worldwide, but I would guess North America. In Canada and United States, yeah. So in North America, not even counting Mexico. Wow. I mean, just listen to that stuff. I mean, you already know that it's not too successful. I'm gonna share some of my thoughts, but I tend to kind of agree with the trend. I didn't think it was that great overall. I thought it was entertaining though. That's the thing. Like I thought, it wasn't like a movie that I would have, wanted to walk out on or thought it was absolutely terrible. I found it actually entertaining because I just wanted to see what the hell they were going to do with it, after the first, half of the movie. And I feel like the second half was stronger. I felt like it just kind of, obviously, went crazy. But anyways, so just wanted to share some stats on there, so now I get to some of my thoughts. So I'm just gonna go over some points that I found. There's not gonna be too many spoilers, if any, in this review, so if you haven't seen the movie, you should be fine here. If you are really afraid of spoilers, you think they're really really bad, then I don't know. I don't think I'm trying not gonna cover too many. Obviously, I think I'm going to say character names and stuff like that, but, that's just kind of basic stuff. So, my first thing is the film is all over the place. And like I was saying before, to me, these type of movies aren't my favorite. I'm trying to think, like, I guess I would say American Hustle, but that's not really the same thing, of course. You can't put those two movies together. But in a context that the movie kind of skips back and forth a lot, kind of has different, the characters are doing something here and then totally different here, and then it kind of all loops back at the end and kind of makes sense, connects back. I felt like this film was a little bit like that. It didn't have sort of the time skips per se and the flashbacks and all that, but it definitely was kind of all over the place. Like, seriously, I mean, one scene is totally different than the other, and there's a lot of time skipping within it, though, too. Like, I think a lot of time went by between, some of the big events in the movie as well. Towards the end, of course, it happened in one night, right? But I think, in the first part of it, for sure, it was kind of disjointed and kind of all over the place. So, I don't know. I guess that'd be a negative for me, just because I don't really kind of like that type of movie. I like where you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end, and they take us through it and, share everything that is there, instead of, having one scene and then the next scene just be a totally different atmosphere and, stuff is happening to these characters that we haven't seen. So that's sort of what I'm trying to get at there. For this to be a crime drama or a mystery, I think that's what it's supposed to be. the mystery is exposed way too early and way too easily. I mean, I think that they made it out to be like that. I don't think they were trying to hide the mystery of it all. But again, I'm not going to touch on, spoilers too much, but I mean, way too early. The actual mystery of the whole thing about, and you don't even really know exactly what has happened until, a little bit into the film, what has actually happened, the mystery per se, and then a few minutes later, then you find out that, of course, it's not that big of a mystery, and you find out the truth, and even the little boy who's sort of subject to this mystery, he's trying to figure it out. He even figures it out, too early. I get me, okay, maybe the viewers see it, but the character who's trying to figure it out figures it out, 25 minutes into the movie as well. So I don't know. It just seemed like it was way too early and way too easily. Like, it was totally foreseeable. You could have predicted that for sure. And a comedy within the film is great, but it's not listed as a comedy. So like, I don't know. I think the scene was in the trailer as well, but the scene where Matt Damon, his character is riding a little like boy's bike down the street, and he looks hilarious on it, of course. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I felt like I laughed actually at quite a few parts in the film, and I just felt like you kind of have to laugh at it, or else it was like awkward. You know what I mean? Like, I think there are some parts where it's like, were they really supposed to? Are they trying to put comedy in here? I don't know. I think Matt Damon is funny when he wants to be, right? I think he's also great in serious roles too. But he's funny. So I mean, I think maybe that was part of his acting too. That he was what made it funny. Maybe the writing wasn't actually supposed to be comedic. But yeah. But I thought it was great. I mean, of course, the whole film is kind of based around irony. That's sort of like an underlying thing as well in this film. I mean, that's probably the biggest part of it. And yeah, so I don't know. I felt like there was definitely some comedy with the irony there. But again, not sure if there was supposed to be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I felt like they were trying to take the story with the black family who moves into the neighborhood at the very beginning of the film, and yeah, so they kind of move in, and the whole neighborhood, they, it's a whole white neighborhood, right? And this is back in 1959. This movie is based on, and so of course, they are totally, against these black people moving in their community, right? And that's just how it is. So, and they all, want them to move away. They don't want them here because they think that they're gonna, bring on negative things, which of course they don't. But I never quite got what it meant in the story. I think, I was talking to, some people who went and saw it with me, and I'm like, is it supposed to be a symbol of something? Like, I really didn't understand what it was. I liked it in the movie. Like, I feel like it was it was a good part. And then obviously connecting the child there from the black family to the child, of the story, mainly of the main characters. That was cool, that connection. But I didn't really see the purpose of all that other stuff about the protesting and then the big riot that happens against them. So yeah, I didn't really get that whole part. I didn't think that was really necessary in telling our story. I feel like, yeah, if you would have made some more, points on that and more development, okay, then I get it. But I don't know. I really, I liked it, but I didn't think it was really, needed, and I didn't really get what the point of it was. And I feel like they could have conveyed that a little bit better. Great portrayal of the snowball effect. I mean, this movie is literally just a representation of that, of what happens, things just spiral and spiral and spiral out of control, and then you have to do this, then you have to do this to fix that, and then this to fix that, which fixes that. You go around in circles, but yeah, so it's basically, the whole movie is kind of based around that sort of thing there. And I thought it was amazing performances from Matt Damon and Julianne Moore. I've read some stuff and people saying that it's, not a good performance from either of them, really, compared to other things. But I thought they both did well. I feel like Matt Damon really added a lot of, a lot of flavor to the movie, which was kind of dull a little bit. And Julianne Moore, she actually, she plays two characters in the film, and I mean, that takes a lot of work. So I feel like she did great as well in her role, in portraying that, sort of housewife, type of person, and of course, she's a lot more than that, as we learn. But yeah, and I feel like Matt Damon, yeah, he did a great job. So I think without them two, this movie would definitely not have been able, it probably wouldn't have been watchable. I feel like if it was with, just actors that we don't really know, not A-list actors like these two, I think the movie would have been an absolute fail, in my opinion. But with these two, I think they kind of kept it afloat. They kept it worthwhile, even though the movie actually didn't turn out that good. It got really repetitive with the shots, that they were showing of the house, and, and it was just kind of obvious things. And then they show, and they play the creepy music, leading up to it, like something's going to happen. And you're like, well, we know that this guy's going to jump out of here and, and do something. So, what's the point in all this music happening? And the themes as well throughout. I mean, they just, like, really got into our minds about, the black family and how the neighborhood didn't want them. I mean, they focused on that so much again and again and again. It just got really repetitive after a while. So I actually felt like one of the best parts of the film was actually the end. And even at the end with, the big, ironic ending of the whole film, which was, pretty well done. I thought it was good. But again, it was funny, and I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be, right? But I found it funny. I got a good chuckle out of it. I just, it turned so dark and so crazy just all of a sudden, right? So that kind of made it too. And then, all of that kind of contributed to a reaction, when the credits started rolling, for me at least, and it was like, what did I just watch? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have that sometimes with movies. And some of the movies that I have that are good, but I don't think this one was. I think this was kind of a negative reaction. What did I just watch? Like what just happened? Because things just came out of nowhere. Things, it just blew out of proportion, and all of a sudden, we're caught up in this, and and then the credits roll, and you kind of take a step back, and you're like, what just happened, right? So, it's definitely one of those movies, and I think it's all for the wrong reasons, to be honest. I don't think that's that's a good reaction in this case. I just think they took things way out of proportion, and it just didn't really make context with the rest of the movie there, with that big ending. But it was a satisfying ending for sure, for the viewers, especially, right? So for a rating, I noticed that for the It movie review, the last one I did, I wasn't, I didn't keep track with the other one. But from now on, I'm just going to do a rating out of 10 for these movie reviews. So this one, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. And yeah, I mean, I already went over it, but I just feel like this movie, I personally, why it's a 5 for me and not lower, is because I actually found it funny. I found a lot of funny parts in it. I appreciated the messages that were, kind of conveyed. And I did appreciate the performances by Matt Damon and Julianne Moore for showing up and, giving this movie some life. But the rest of it was pretty much all negative. I'd say those are the main positives from it, and that would be about it. I feel like this is a miss for George Clooney, a complete, disappointment, to be honest, right? His other films have been pretty good. And this one, I think, is just a miss. I think, he just came up short with this one. And I don't think this, can get people saying, well, he's not a good director now after this one. No, I think this is just a miss, a blip, in his credits. And I think in the future, I don't think that he's going to make another one like this. So I don't think we should worry about that. But yeah, it definitely is a miss for George Clooney. But good on Matt Damon and Julianne Moore for still showing up and being able to carry this movie a little bit farther than maybe what it would have been, right, without them. So yeah, in terms of should you see it? I don't know. I mean, I would just save my money and go to see something else. If I had the choice, I probably would not see it again. If that helps. But yeah, I mean, if you're into Matt Damon, Julianne Moore, you're big fans of them, I'd go see it. I mean, it's worth it to see. But otherwise, I don't know. I just don't really see that, that you'd enjoy it as much. But anyways, that'll just about do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Thank you so much for the recent support on my videos. Channel is growing so fast, just so fast recently. So I really appreciate that from you guys as well. So anyways, guys, a couple movies in the works, hopefully for next week. So hopefully I'll be getting some more reviews up for those, and working on some more movie reviews here for the channel. So anyway, anyways, guys, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for my next movie review.
Picture this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips, I am sick, I will punch a baby bear in his shit, give me lip, I'ma send you to the yard, get a stick, make a switch.